afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, April 14th, and I'm Victoria Torrent. In campus news, late Wednesday afternoon, Tarleton released rules regarding campus carry. Individuals with concealed handgun licenses will be able to carry firearms on campus in classrooms as well as residential halls. On the other hand, firearms will not be allowed in scientific labs, daycare facilities, sporting events, recreational facilities, counseling offices, camps, and programs where minors are present, disciplinary meetings, and other approved locations. According to proposed rules released by the Texas A&M University System, this proposal has been reviewed by the Texas A&M System Office of General Counsel, approved by the Chancellor for submission to the board, and will be considered by the Texas A&M System Board of Regents on April 27th. Tarleton students interviewed by Texan News showed mixed emotions. Some were on board while others disagreed with the decision. Texan News also attempted to get in touch with Tarleton's risk director, Kent Styron, yesterday, but he was in a meeting about active shooting training at the time the rules were released. In regional news from the Empire Tribune, you may have noticed the overwhelming amount of buses in the city on Wednesday. Over 4,500 FFA students and ag teachers gathered in places around town for the area FFA career development events hosted by Tarleton and the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. More than 440 high school FFA programs were represented during the contest. The contests include everything from poultry judging to milk quality and projects. Tarleton will also host the FFA contest for environmental and natural resources, dairy cattle, milk quality and products, range home site evaluation, and land. Dr. David Drockheimer says that the Tarleton has hosted FFA events for as long as the Texas FFA has sponsored them. And now, today's Texas national and international news from the Associated Press. In Texas news, former football player for Baylor University, Sean Oakman, was arrested Wednesday for sexually assaulting a woman at his apartment. A woman told the police that the 24-year-old defensive end assaulted her on April 3rd after meeting at a nightclub in Waco. Oakman claims that the sex was consensual. The arrest makes it the latest incident for the Baylor football program. The university faces questions as well as federal lawsuit on whether they have failed to act efficiently when dealing with football players accused of sexual assault. In national news, 72-year-old woman from Tucson, Arizona, Ann Rogers, was recovered in the White Mountains of eastern Arizona after missing for 9 days. Rogers was going to visit her grandchildren in Phoenix, where she ended up lost after taking a couple of wrong turns. With no cell phone signal and her car out of gas, she began to look for any sign of people. She ate plants and a turtle and made a sign out of rocks and sticks until a helicopter found her. She claims that taking a survival course and studying survival methods saved her life. After being discovered, she went to the hospital for a few hours and went back to hiking just after a couple of days. In international news, United States senators expressed their disgust over sex crimes taking place in the United Nations. We turn to the Associated Press for a closer look.
If I knew that the UN was sending peacekeepers into my neighborhood, I would leave here immediately. I would drop what I was doing. I would catch the next flight home, and I would go home and try to protect my family from the abuse that they put forth on the very people that they try to protect. The United States of America is paying. We're the largest contributor, and this is taking place.
There has to be accountability here, and the thing that gets Chairman Corker and me so concerned is the reports that, at least initially within the United Nations, the response was fragmented and bureaucratic, that it was not treated with the seriousness that it should have been treated. That's hard for us to understand. The entity that's supposed to bring world peace and stability, condoning through their inactions those types of activities.
Sexual exploitation and abuse by UN peacekeepers is not a new problem. It has plagued missions from Bosnia to Haiti to the Democratic Republic of Congo to the Central African Republic. And let me read you just a short passage from an internal UN report documenting sexual abuse among peacekeepers. Some girls, I'm quoting, some girls talked of rape disguised as prostitution, in which they said they were raped and given money or food afterwards to give the rape the appearance of a consensual transaction.
What is wrong with the Secretary General of the UN? This report was written, the one that you referred to is 10 years old. What is wrong with him? I mean, is he just so inept that he can't cause a body like this to keep this from happening over and over and over again, and we're just now beginning to put processes in place. What is wrong with him?
And now we turn to the AP News Minute for more national and international news.
This is AP News Minute. Doctors in the U.S. say they now know for sure that the Zika virus causes babies to be born with abnormally small heads. The virus is mostly spread by mosquito bites, but it can also be transmitted through sex. Leaders of Islamic countries are gathered in Turkey. One of the big topics is Syria's future. Donald Trump had an embarrassing moment on the campaign trail. He asked a Pittsburgh crowd, "How's Joe Paterno?" The Penn State football coach died in 2012. A spokesman reportedly said Trump was referring to a statue of Paterno removed from Penn State after a child sex scandal involving his assistant coach. And the Golden State Warriors set an NBA record for most wins in the regular season. The Warriors beat the Memphis Grizzlies 125-104 to finish the season with 73 wins and 9 losses. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
Today's weather forecast is brought to you by the National Weather Service. Today will be partly sunny with a high of 72 and a low of 55. Today's broadcast was produced by Heather Brown, Latricia Powell, and Skylar Lepores. You can follow us at www.texannews.net. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan of Texan TV News on Facebook. I'm Victoria Torrent. Tune in Friday for the latest news from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas.